and welcome everyone to a new episode of Score Sheet. Cairo International Stadium, such a venue for modern pentathlon. We are here covering the first World Cup of the season. The Olympic year is expecting a lot from athletes from all over the world. Stay tuned only on Nile TV International always for more. We are going to have interviews with many high-ranking officials, players, coaches, and more.
To be the best, number one and nothing less. Lead me to my destiny. I have waited patiently. I have vision, though I believe. I know I can count on me. So stand up for the champions, for the champions. Stand up, stand up, stand up. For the champions, for the champions.
We are delighted to have with us Engineer Sharif Al-Aryan, the President of the Egyptian Federation of Modern Pentathlon. Thank you very much for being with us, sir. And first, I should congratulate you on the wonderful organization of the event. As far as I know, that this first World Cup of the season has a lot of importance, as it's in the Olympic year, to be accurate, and it may pave the way for many of the athletes to qualify to Rio. How do you see this, and how do you see Egypt hosting this?
Yeah, in hosting the competition we have no problem. We are experts in hosting. Egypt is one of the best 3 or 4 countries in the world in hosting competitions. Our venues are one of the best. The temperature is perfect in Egypt, especially at the time of winter and springtime. So in hosting wise we have no problem at all.
Yeah.
The importance of this competition is that it is one of 6 competitions this year that is going to decide who plays in the Rio Olympic Games. We have 4 World Cup series. Egypt is number 1. After 2 weeks we're going to Rio for the 2nd World Cup. The 3rd World Cup is in Rome. The 4th World Cup is in Keshmet in Hungary. And then we have a final World Cup in Sarasota in Florida in United States, followed by the World Championships in Moscow in Russia. All of this will end by the 29th of May. On the 1st of June, the UIPM will decide who are the remaining players qualified for the Olympic Games. There are 20 players qualified till now from the Confederation Cups. And we are one of them. Egypt has qualified with a boy and a girl through the African Championships.
Names, sir?
Islam Hamid was the winner of the boys event, and Heidi Adel was winner of the girls event. The 2 reserve players till now are Amr Ghazeri and Aya Medani. We hope that they can qualify through the ranking list and through the World Championships.
Sir, regarding what you were talking about the 6 World Cups to come, and Egyptians are going to participate, as we hope that Aya and Ghazeri are going to qualify. What are the preparations? I mean, would they participate in all the World Cups, or how we can choose which is which?
To be honest, we have 6 players who have chances of qualification. The maximum number of qualification for any country is 2 boys and 2 girls. There are many ways of qualification: through the World Championships, through the ranking list, through the Confederation Cup. Confederation Cup is finished, but we have 4 boys, Amr Ghazeri, Omar Ghazeri, Yasser Hifni and Islam Hamid, who are competing for 2 spots, which is the maximum for any country. In the girls, we are not that fortunate. We have Heidi, who qualified already, so she will take it easy to the Olympics. She will probably not play all the World Cups. She will play only the necessary World Cups for her to get into form. Aya, unfortunately, has to play all, otherwise she will not qualify. And even by playing all, there's no guarantee of qualification. She was unfortunate here yesterday to not be able to continue in the women's qualification and not reach the final. She was very close to reaching, but she got a hamstring in her leg, and she had to stop. She's at the doctor now. We're waiting for the medical report for her and for Heidi also to decide who's going to play the mixed relay tomorrow.
Sir, I was speaking to Mr. Shulman, the president of the International Union of Modern Pentathlon, and he is saying that modern pentathlon is getting more popular. And he also said about Egypt that Egypt is a developed country when it comes to modern pentathlon. This is great. I'd like you to tell me more about the popularity of modern pentathlon here in Egypt now, and how we can promote this sport?
Modern pentathlon is getting more popular throughout the world and in Egypt too. But this is mainly because of the achievement of our athletes. If you remember maybe 20 years ago or 15, 20 years ago when Ahmed Barada in squash was world champion, okay, everyone started playing squash. Okay, it's the same concept. When you have a world champion or a role model, as we say, okay, all the youth will follow. It's the same thing with pentathlon. Okay, now we have Amr Ghaziri, who's in June ranked #1 in the world. Now he's 5th on the world. Aya Medani was also a good role model. Heidi Aden now is on top of the rank for the under 18. She's the #1. Omneh Fakhri was a bronze medalist in Guatemala many years ago. So we need role models in sports. Role models create popularity in the sport, and they can encourage more the youth to play the sport.
But we also in need for an eye to get the talented kid, whether he or she. Because whenever we are talking about modern pentathlon, about 5 disciplines, it's very hard, it's very tough. And I don't know why at the moment, why all the modern pentathlon players are in the first place swimmers more than anything else. Do you have an explanation, by the way?
Yes, of course, it's all over the world the same. Okay, because in swimming you need to start training since 3 years old. Because swimming is a very early sport to train. Okay, where horseback riding comes in a later stage. Running is a natural thing for anyone. Okay, but fencing, the sword is too heavy. You can't start before the age of 8 or 10. Shooting, the same thing. 10 or 12 where you start shooting. It's a normal progression.
But Yasser Hafni is a speedball champion, for example. And this is another story.
Yasser Hafni was a swimmer. Yeah, Yasser Hafni was not. He didn't start as a speedball champion. He started as a swimmer. He was a champion in swimming. Okay, and then he converted. He played speedball and pentathlon, and then he went on from there.
Yeah, sir. I feel that bad when I know that the modern pentathlon players are all coming from Cairo or Alexandria or stuff like that. Of course, we do have talented players all over Egypt. What the Federation is doing to get all those players from all over Egypt to get involved into serious competitions and to be included into our national team?
We have 5 sports. You have to understand that we have 5 sports. There's no constriction in any of the 5 sports except in riding. All the riding centers that we have in Egypt are either in Cairo, in Alexandria, or in Sharm el-Sheikh. We have a small center. So we don't have riding anywhere else. So where will we get the horses? Horses are expensive.
Sure.
It is not an easy sport for everyone to play. It's 5 disciplines. There's a lot of training. Okay, we have tried to revive Alexandria, which we did. Now Alexandria have more than 1,000 players listed. That's half what Cairo has. Okay, so we have revived Alexandria somehow, but still they're not at the level that we hope they will be. Tanta is starting, but with 4 events without the riding. So we are starting. We're starting to develop. We started to buy our own horses as federation. Okay, so we own 5 horses now. This should help a little, and hopefully it will pick up.
Sure, sir. And of course, we thank you for all the efforts you are doing for the sake of the sport and for the sake of our Egyptian youth. Returning back to modern pentathlon, far from the Rio Games, and to focus more on the new generation to come, to Tokyo 2020, for example. What are we doing for them? I mean, taking them to close camps, whether inside or outside Egypt, getting foreign coaches from all over the world. What are we doing?
Our main concentration now as the Olympic Committee and the Egyptian Federation is for Rio. Okay, so we're putting all our focus to Rio. As the Egyptian Modern Pentathlon Federation, we also have a long-term plan for Tokyo 2020 and for Buenos Aires Youth Olympics in Buenos Aires in 2018. Okay, so we have a plan. We have had we call it the Olympic Hopes. Okay, we have 4 or 5 players, boys and girls, who we are getting ready, and they have played in our World Cup. So they are born 2000 and below, so they are 15, 16-year-old players, and they are now training with our national team. They are competing at this level, at World Cup level. Okay, so they're gaining a lot of experience. So hopefully in 2018, I think pentathlon will be on the podium in girls and boys. This is our target. As for Tokyo 2020, we have players like Heidi Aden, who qualified for Rio. We don't expect her to do anything in Rio, okay, but we do expect her to gain enough experience to be able to be on the podium in 2020. She's 16 years old. She's going to be 20 years old when it's 2020, okay, and that's the perfect age for us to reach a medal.
Would you please elaborate on the coaching staff we have? Are they all Egyptians, or others are foreigners?
The coaching staff, there's always the problem of if you try to hire coaching staff 1 or 2 years before the Olympics, it's impossible. No one's going to leave, or the top coaches. So we took another direction totally. We said, okay, well, let's do it long term. We took our ex-players who have good potential to be trainers, and we said we're going to coach them with the players to be good coaches.
Yeah.
So they are in the learning process now. So we changed that. We put a head coach, but we put under him an expert in every sport of our 5 sports.
Yeah.
So he is actually he is the head coach, but he is learning from every one of those.
Yeah.
So hopefully by 2-3 years to come, we will have great coaches for modern pentathlon.
Yeah. Sir, as far as I know also that we are going to host another junior championship or another event in September, and of course maybe you are preparing for this event from now. Tell me about it.
We have bidded for a lot of competitions with the UIPM, and we are fortunate that we have 2 major competitions in Cairo or in Egypt. Okay, not necessarily in Cairo. In Egypt, every single year from now till 2020. We have secured that for Egypt in the bidding process. So this year, for example, we have the World Cup qualifying for Rio, and then in September we have the Junior World Championships from 14th to 18th of September. It's a huge event also. Next year we have the World Cup number 2, which will be in March, and then we have the Seniors World Championship is going to be in Cairo, also somewhere in August probably.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. We have a World Championship for biathlon for the youngsters in Hurghada in 2018, and we have in 2019 it's called the Laser Run World Championship. Okay, that will probably be, we still decide where, but Egypt has taken it as the winning bid, and we still have to decide where we're going to do it.
Sir, I think 102 players came to participate in this event from 38 countries. Of course, you may find some difficulties with some of those countries to come or to persuade them to come, because some of them at least would have some concerns regarding the security situation in Egypt. What have you done to handle this?
We have worked very closely with the UIPM. Whenever they get a concern or a complaint from any country that maybe Egypt is not safe or whatever, we have dealt with it immediately on the spot. Okay, we have very good relations now with all the countries listed in UIPM. Okay, and because we are doing a lot of competitions now, and no problems happen in the competition, so people are more confident. This year, okay, of course it's the Olympic year, so no one cannot come. Even if there is security issues, everyone will come. Okay, so this year was much easier than before.
Last but not least, sir, what about the cooperation between the Federation and the government, or in specific with the Ministry of Youth and Sports? If any obstacles on the way, would you consult, for example, Engineer Khalid Abdelaziz, His Excellency